everybody, and welcome back to the Star Wars Expanded Universe. No by Disney, Oracle and Lucasfilm. Everybody you slice it. Legends. I don't have that much to talk about today. I just have a comic, webcomic, which I'll leave a link in the description to both of them. And another series by Jude Watson, the final one. Well, then there's one that might be ghost written by her, because it's not her name, but there's some evidence that it might be her, but that won't be till after episode 4. But we have the same author of Jedi Apprentice and Jedi Quest, Jude Watson, in the Last of the Jedi series. And that's pretty much it. Starting with the webcomics Evasive Action, Prey, and Endgame. So this we continue to follow the Padawans who escaped Order 66, and we see the conclusion to their stories in a non-spoilerish way as possible. That is what you'll find there. There's some great EU connections in there that I don't want to spoil for you, but they're there, and you'll notice them if you pay attention, so that's pretty great. Moving forward, we have Star Wars Tales, number 4, The Death Star is Born. It's awful non-canon garbage. Don't read it. Its art style is awful. Tarkin is being a bully to Vader and everybody else. And there's also water bottles, like Earth water bottles and other stuff that's just stupid. It's a stupid non-canon story. That's all I have to say about it. Moving on, we have The Last of the Jedi, Book 1, The Desperate Mission by Jude Watson. So, half this book we follow, that's right, who's a character that she's focused on for 2 book series, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Because of events within the book that I don't want to spoil, Obi-Wan decides he has to leave Tatooine this one time for a mission that requires protecting, he basically just gets like a feeling like he has to leave, at least this one time. And he ends up meeting a character from Jedi Quest, this character being Ferris Olin, the rival to Anakin Skywalker in the Jedi Quest series, who left the Jedi Order at the end of that series. So he has now come back, and him and Obi-Wan get intertangled into stuff and join forces. However, Obi-Wan has imparted what he's needed to Ferris, reinvigorated Ferris's need to try to save as many Jedi as possible, and Obi-Wan decides too much heat has already been kind of put on me at this point, so I'm gonna head back before my cover is blown. However, they are stopped at the end of this book from him going straight home because of Boba Fett, and that's all I'll say there. Book 2, Dark Warning. We continue to follow Obi-Wan and Ferris escaping Boba Fett and some other things, and by the end of it, Obi-Wan says, if you truly need my help, you can call me. I'll try to give you some advice, but I cannot leave Tatooine. I can't tell you why, but I have to remain there. This was the one exception, and I need you. I know it's a lot to ask, but I need you to carry on the mission. Because there is an Inquisitor. Yes, Inquisitors existed in the old canon as well as the new, but I think they're a bit more interesting in the old canon. But this Inquisitor kind of wants Palpatine's place. But in order to get to that place, you have to first become second in command, which means he really doesn't like Vader. And Vader really doesn't like him. And so, because of the threat of the twins being found out, Obi-Wan implores Ferris to stop this at any means necessary. which you think would be a good enough reason for Obi-Wan to stick along. I mean, the reasonable excuse is that the heat was coming on, and if it was found out that Obi-Wan was still alive, Darth Vader will not rest until he was absolutely dead. That being said, since Darth Vader and everyone have heard nothing from Obi-Wan, they assume that he has died. But the real reason is because of Lucasfilm, because they cared about continuity. Jude Watson wanted Obi-Wan to be in this entire series, but Lucasfilm told her, no, you could have her in a couple, or have him in a couple, and then he has to part ways. He has to remain on Tatooine because that's the lore established in Episode 4, in Episode 3, that he watched over Luke all those years. He did not go off of Tatooine because it would have exposed his cover. So she said, fine, I'll give some excuse as to why. And that's the reason, was because, oh, well, if he keeps going adventures with Ferris, he'll be found out and Darth Vader will kill him, which is a reasonable explanation. But the true reason is simply because Lucasfilm wouldn't let her use him, otherwise she would have. And so they part ways at the end of the second one. Taking a small break from the series, there's a short story written by Jude called Ghost of the Sith. We're on their way to Coruscant. Well, there's also this, like, homeless kid, orphan, named Trevor. He's good with, like, demolitions and stuff and all that, and he's like 13 years old, and he's kind of just joining Ferris because, whatever. Anyway, on their way to Coruscant, Ferris is beckoned to Korriban, the Sith homeworld, because reasons. But he resists temptation to gain more power to be able to defeat the Sith, and keeps going toward Coruscant. It's whatever. Do you need it to understand any of the other books? Absolutely not. But if you want a short 18-page story, that is something you can read. But it is absolutely not necessary. Last of the Jedi, Book 3, Underworld. So, some cool things here. Varys meets Dex. I'll say that. Dexter. Dexter's Diner. So that was pretty cool. We also get references to, at the very core of Coruscant's planet, there's still crust and, like, rivers and stuff. Because in, like, the Thrawn trilogy, we have, like, mentions of, like, mountains. And in the Dark Empire comic book, you actually see, like, mountains in the background. However, I chalk that up to, the stuff is kind of rebuilt over time because they haven't cared about, preserving the city as much. Because that's cost a lot. And who cares about the citizens, right? So then it kind of just started growing back up, but yeah, it was cool. Book 3 isn't my favorite, but it's a decent little read. Book 4 is really short, though. It's only 98 pages, and it's Death on Naboo. So again, we have Malorum trying to find out Inquisitor Malorum is trying to figure out the truth as to Padme's death, because it's very mysterious, and he needs to get a hold up on Vader in order to get in good graces with Palpatine. So he's trying to find out this secret. And Obi-Wan was very vague with Varys on what the reason why he stays on Tatooine is. However, he does realize that Obi-Wan warned him, if anybody ever goes to Tatooine, that, like a bad guy, you have to investigate it. Because the entire future and hope of this entire galaxy could be at stake. And so he goes, and of course, Loram is trying to figure out what happened with Padme. Why are there very few records about her death? Why was she so chummy with Skywalker? Why do the medical records that Malorum got a hold of, that took a lot for him to get, by the way, say that she was pregnant? And is there a connection between her and Skywalker? Here's another thing. Did she give birth before she died? Are the kids still alive? If so, where are they? So he goes to the grandmother to find out, the grandmother of Padme, to find out some answers. What happens? You have to read to find out. But obviously, no one knows if Luke and Leia are around by episode 4. So, take that with what you will. overall, oh, also, Malorum knows that Vader is Anakin Skywalker. That's another thing. But it doesn't matter because the truth dies with him. Overall, these 4 books are okay. They are nowhere near the level of Jedi Apprentice or Jedi Quest. And I think the reason for that is because of Ferris. Now, I don't hate Ferris like Matt Wilkins does. But Ferris is just not that interesting to me. Trevor, too, the little boy, is not that interesting to me. When Dex showed up, I was excited because I like Dex. Malorum is interesting. Obi-Wan was interesting. That's why books 1 and 2 have been my favorites so far. But I just don't feel anything for Ferris. Maybe that will change with the rest of the series, but as for this one, I just don't care about him. And so it's kind of hindering my view of the series so far. But overall, it's decent. It's not a bad children's series by any means. It's just not great, I should say. But up next, we're taking a break from The Last Jedi to read Book 2 in the Coruscant Nights series by Michael Reeves, which I believe has sort of a similar plot to this last book that I just reviewed, but we'll see. If you don't care about spoilers, if you don't like spoilers, then you should probably leave. If you don't care, if you are a veteran, you've already read this series, and all the stuff I talked about, then stick around. This is your warning. So I don't have too much to say about the webcomics, other than no Grey Assassins, Thrawn trilogy, that's cool. A little girl, Izard, which is important, Yusan, because she's the main antagonist of the Extreme Rogue Squadron novels. So that's awesome. Also, Zizor's role in the Prey webcomic is great, and I love having Zizor here. The only thing that was really cool about The Last Jedi Book 1 was that in this one, unlike in the Kenobi novel, Obi-Wan is actually actively talking to Qui-Gon Jinn, which was awesome. I really don't have any notes for Book 2, or Book 3, or Book 4, but those are just some of the things I noticed. Nothing super crazy. But overall, it's an okay series. Anyway, I just want to talk about some of those things, because I thought it was really cool, but I didn't want to say in spoilers either, because they're all relatively short, so that's why I'm doing it in bulk. Like, after I read Book 2, of course, on nights, it's just going to be Book 5 through 10. I'm just going to finish off the Last Jedi series, but it is what it is. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, may the Force be with you.